Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching this show from. My name is Denise Belisle, and I'm a serenity expert and positive intelligence specialist. I'm glad to be here today. I have a very special guest, and wait until you hear what he has to talk about. His name is Mirza Nabeel Baig, and he's a management consultant, and we'll talk about homelessness. And he has great plans for Vancouver, but also anywhere around the world to end homelessness. I would look forward to hear about that. But before we get started there, let's talk about why this show is called It's All Good, Look Who's Here for a Chat. Well, the second part is really simple. Look who's here for a chat. I pretty much always have guests into this show, and I love to bring people that would trickle your interest and will bring you a little bit of knowledge about what other people are doing. And who knows, maybe you want to connect with them later and make connection and just exchange. The first part is it's all good. It's all good. Well, that's my favorite cup. It's all good. And the reason why I say that, and I'm lucky to have this cup, is because I feel that regardless of what happened in life, you can't really stress out over what's going on. It's all good. If it happened 5 seconds ago, or whether it happened 5 years ago, I can't change it. I can't change what happened in the past. All I can do is decide to move forward and deal with it in a very positive manner and start with it's all good. And what about the future? Is the same thing. We can prepare for the future, we can plan, make some plan, but life happen and you never know whenever you're going to have something landing in front of you that will change your plan. So when things not don't work out the way you expected, when things don't work out the way you had planned, don't have an anxiety attack. Don't get so worried about it. Just say it's all good and look for the gift in every situation in your life. So that's why I call this It's All Good. That's my way of thinking. That's my way of living. If you ever want to talk about it or have some exchange about why, like how you can bring more serenity in your life, just give me a call. That'd be great. And if you're watching this show, whether you're watching it live or in replay, do hashtag replay in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, once I'll transfer that there, well, you can also place comment and give us some idea about who you are and if you have any question about this show. So without any further ado, let's welcome Mirza. And here he is. Mirza, it's such a pleasure to have you here today. And thank you for accepting my invitation on such short notice.
Thank you, Denise. It's a pleasure to be here. I really enjoy it. Thank you so much for having me here.
You're very welcome. And so you notice I didn't really introduce you because I decided to leave that to you. So could you just tell us, you say you're a management consultant, but you can talk about that, but I'll give you a space to explain also why the theme of this meeting today, which is homelessness. So the floor is yours for a while.
Okay, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I am an immigrant to Canada in 2010 on Federal Skilled Worker Program. I am petroleum engineering from Pakistan and worked for an international company named 𝙎𝙧, and then I came to Canada. And after coming to Canada, I started working in oil and gas. Every immigrant goes through, and then I enrolled myself in a double master's. It was master's in petroleum and MBA from University of Alberta, Edmonton. There, but then certain events happened in my life, and oil price. Anyone who know or remember those times in 2014, 15, 16, cheaper than water, and which devastated Alberta's economy. And at the same time, I a kind of heartbreak or a divorce or a betrayal at that time. As I was alone, I did not had any family at that point. So I went through a lot of issues and I became homeless. The next few years, I lived on Vancouver, Toronto, and Ottawa in minus 40 weathers. And how the extreme weathers and the extreme things which homeless people and subsequent events made me have to get control of my life back, and I have to give back to community and help those people, because multiple events showed me that they have more humanity left in them than in our society. And a few years forward, now I'm at this point. I have a stable life, I have stable businesses, and I can do something to learn for last 2-3 years now. And I'm really passionate about making an impact to these people's life, and it's very easy to bring, which show that how easily we can change their lives for good. My introduction.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, because I thank you for sharing, by the way. I mean, it's not always easy to talk about what happened in difficult situation. And often when I walk in we have a lot of homelessness in Vancouver, a lot of homeless people. And when I walk and I see some of them out there in the street, and I lived in Gastown, which there's right on the edge of, the East End, and all the people. I had people like on the sidewalk, in front of my place and all that, are very often laying down and comatose, like no know if they're alive or dead. But I'm always thinking that I could not really judge them for where they were now, because I didn't know their story. I didn't
Yes.
know what brought them there. And we don't know, like, for you, look at you now, right? You have multiple companies and you're a successful businessman, and a few years ago you were homeless, right?
And,
Not that long ago.
and before homeless Denise, I was again a successful professional company with a proper apartment, with a proper life, with
Yeah.
cars and everything. But life happened. A living example for people like who like to judge homeless people that they don't fault. That's why they're homeless. No, that's not true. I didn't not do anything. Life brought me to streets. I was
Hmm.
working. I was studying. I had everything. It's just trauma brings you on your knees and brings you on the street. So if one message is there for sure, that stop judging homeless people, stop judging these people.
I think that's the first step to healing the society towards that, right? Like, once you start judging and start to love more, and try to understand. Some people, I agree. I've talked to some of the homeless, and they don't want to talk, right? And I can understand that too, because they're not really treated very nicely and all that, and I feel that. But for those that want to talk, like, sometimes, they like to share a little bit of their stories. And it's not shoes that I would love to walk on, you know. Like they say, walk in someone's shoes, for a few miles, for you to understand. And there's some shoes I really don't want to walk on, because it's not really good, the type of life that they had in order to get there. And it's not always easy to get out. And so tell me, how did you succeed to walk away from being homeless?
That's a very good question, Denise, and I totally understand when you say it's not a comfortable life. It's not an easy life being homeless, because homeless, once you lose hope and when you fall into despair, and those emotions, and they just suck out all the energy and all the willingness to succeed. And for me, it was the same case. I was heartbroken. I just lost hope from the life. I was like, how it happened. I was, without going into further personal details, I I was very sad at that point. But one thing I remember, that once I when I became homeless, and I first few weeks was anything. I'm just walking around here and there, and I get a bed to sleep at night and all that. Those feelings were not so bad. But as soon as as soon as I the weather changed. It became really difficult, and every day I pray to God that somehow, some way, I applied for many jobs. Nobody want to hire you when you don't have a permanent place. Nobody want to hire you um, uh, in that condition. I did many day jobs in which you separate the garbage. I did that. You separate metal from the garbage in the plant, then $50-$60, which was nothing, no, nothing, which was nothing. Working for that much money was not enough. It was not enough money. Anyways, so it took me almost year and a half, and I still remember that if that event would not have happened, I probably still would have been homeless. Something that I was lying on the, I didn't, a homeless shelter kicked me out in a minus, not give me a bed. It happened in Brampton. I was in Mississauga. I walked to night, uh, and there was a snowstorm. To Brampton shelter, they said
That's in
they have given.
Ontario, right? Brampton?
That's an that's an Ontario. That they have given all their beds,
Mm.
and they have no more beds for me. And that it's so cold outside. Let me sleep on the floor. I will die outside. But the lady, no, it's not their policy for allowing anyone
Yeah.
to sleep on the floor. So I
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
leave. So I was like, okay, but at least give me a taxi voucher. I requested her, give me a taxi voucher. There is no. How would you survive if this shelter is full? Give me a way to reach to another shelter, walk another 4 hours for a shelter. And for some reasons they reject. Anyways, I was very upset and I was very sad. I went to it on a curb there and thought I will pass my night there. But as my body was moving, before as I sat on the curb, I realized that the cold is coming inwards and I was malnourished. I was not very healthy at that time. So that I will die here and I'm freeze to death tonight. And I will also tell you that there were many people. There were many people who walked by that curb. Not a single person, Denise, called 911. I was lying there and I was this all was going through my head that how can a shelter reject a person? How can they know I will die here? And then this thought overcame my head. That who walked by me, who noticed, they just didn't care. They didn't
You were
care
just
that
garbage. You were just
yeah,
like,
I was not a human to them. I was
yeah.
not a human to them. They were so busy in their whatever lives were that they forgot that there's a human being sitting here. That was the night, Denise. I that was the first time. That was the first God wavered a little bit. I said to God that why I was a good person. I was always you know I was always fair. I was always like in each and every role I was a nice person. So why did you
Why did you
and
have to go through this, right?
yeah, why, because in my head it was my end. It just was unbearable. And so I said that in my head, closed my eyes, and maybe 5-10 minutes passed by. There was a home working girl, which commonly people call them as prostitutes. They were walking by. They noticed to me. They gave me some blanket. They cared for me. It is because of their kindness I was able to survive that night. I would not. And while they were talking and helping what they were telling me, but I remember the thought in my head that I
Yeah.
was like, oh God, I I put doubt on your kindness. You sent them to help me. And that was the decided to answer your question. That was the moment when I decided this life and I will make something useful of it. I will help these people somehow. And 3 years, not only I have established myself, in fact, I have made plans and and strides in helping homeless people to completely eliminate. So sorry, that was a long answer to a short question, but I had to. So
So,
that happened.
so what are some of the solution that you have to that we can solve homelessness? So,
So that's a very serious question. Like first of all, I would that when I was homeless, no program, no shelter, other resources available at that point of time were able to help us. They were not sufficient. They were not sufficient. They were not homelessness. They were geared towards just surviving homeless.
yeah,
So
they
so
treat the prisoner, the people that did crime, they're being treated better than the homeless.
yes. So and then for my past 3 years, I'm volunteering very closely in organizations. I'm
Hmm.
myself has been working in the streets with people. Realize that all the programs are there to make sure that homeless person, they're not there to ensure that the homeless person become a part of society. So there's a difference. They don't want the homeless person to die, but they to stay because homelessness has commoditized. They have commoditized the home with examples.
What does that mean? They have commoditized.
Yes, I'm coming there. So
Okay.
first, I'll explain the solution. We saw a video on World Economic in Eastern Europe. They 3D printed houses. They 3D printed, okay, not a big house, a small house with a bed and the table and washroom or something like that. But it was a house. You can see it protects you from there. You can restart your life from there. The cost of that project was that it costed to 3D print that one house, and they printed
Yeah.
many houses. Has enabled us to cheaply make houses, and those houses were good for next 25, 30 years, good and all that stuff. So if we make a town, if we make a separate town, we can call that town as Denise town, a separate town in which there's people in Vancouver. Okay,
In what?
so
Sorry, you cut out. To what? You make a
sorry,
town, like call it
there
Denise Town.
Denise town, and there are 5,000 homeless people in Greater Vancouver area.
5,000. Okay.
5,000 people. Okay, you build 5,000 of those houses. So $4,000 per house per cost. 5,000 houses multiply $20 million. Okay, just to build houses, and then you need a land. So $20 million for the land. So in 35 to $40 million, we can make a town in which all the homeless people will go. They will have a place to restart. They're all concentrated on one place, so you can start mental life training, job placement, and all those rehabilitation activities for them there. The solution, the financial, because the money is the problem now. So the making a town like this is close to $40 million only. That's it. Now let's government is putting on this problem and still unable to solve this problem. One program, which is National Housing Strategy, has allocated billion with a B of our taxpayer money. They take taxes from us and allocate for homelessness. That program is running theme, and since 2017, Denise, homelessness have in 20%. So let that sink in.
It
Tons
doesn't really
of
help. Yeah.
proposals. Yes, and the homelessness have been increasing while the homeless $1 million.
What have they
What
done
is
with that
happening?
money?
Exactly where that money, which pockets those money goes into what has been done with that money. Why didn't it solve? I have a right to ask this question because I am partly paying for that money out of my taxes.
Yeah.
The problem is nobody answers those questions. And if you ask such questions in ways, I'm trying to come on media, I'm trying to come on mainstream media and ask these questions, but have a way of uh, like not letting these common people or the mainstream people, but people need to go and ask these questions. That town, it costs you 40-50 million dollar only, and our streets, they will reside in a separate town. Our whole east side will be cleared. There will be prostitution, nothing here. Why this solution is not implemented? Organizations who have been playing in this domain for decades now.
Yeah, I have to play the devil advocate. I hear you talk about your project, create a town for 5,000 people, and then they can, outside of the city and all that. One of the things that come to mind is like a concentration camp. So what's the difference between a town for homeless, or the idea, like you put your problem away, and then what.
Yes, yes. People will have, but people who talk to homeless people, or who there are people who don't. I am the one who regularly go to EC estate,
Yeah.
who share these ideas with people, and people are fine with this approach because all this they just need a place. Everybody of life, and my website, I have mentioned this plan in detail, and we are making that to the every dollar. We are designing this whole thing also, but at my website. So in that town, or concentration camp is a negative word, I will use the word, in that town, once they are housed, we can provide them mental health resource to them. If they want to take it. I am a mental health problem and do to a person, and I know that how they're administered. I think be treated forcefully. They should be treated so that they're happy. If they don't. As long as we can give them love and hope and large,
Mm-hmm.
and then not only mental health, I want to give them life skills academy. I want to teach them art. I want to teach them marketing. I want to teach them modeling, drama, action, whatever they want to like.
Because I
And
can see when you're saying that, like I can see, sorry to interrupt you, but I
yeah,
can see them being in some way self-sufficient. Like the people that live in that town, they run the soup kitchen, or the restaurant, or the people that run the town run a convenience store. They run, like they use their skill in order to make the town function.
it will evolve. It will evolve. I'm telling you, these people, these who mark my words, these have experiences which we don't have. The
Of
things
course.
which I have learned on the street, and I'm telling you, this what you have called a concentration camp, or a town, do something big. Our generations will see if we are able to do this. Yes, people will create philosophers. That town will create artists. That town will create people who will help. Trust me with that, because they have seen the hard time. Let them administer themselves. Yes, but so what? There's a huge metropolitan of Greater Vancouver area with them. 1,000 people. Denise, only 5,000 people need help. And they need help in the first few years, since their mental health they become stable, since they learn some skills. We want to create an HR consultancy firm. I will make a consultancy. You need a marketer. Go out, reach out to the companies. You need a marketer. Don't pay a month. Pay him only $40,000 a month, but he can do some bit of marketing. Organizations who will want to hire such people.
Yeah.
So we will, and then of course a small economy of that town will create automatically. Some people want to do business, some people don't want to do something. But very soon, Denise, very soon that eat. And the people, and let them administer themselves. They will administer other homeless, other drug addicts. They will cure themselves. So many working girls, I met so many working girls, they just need a second chance and not mess it up again.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
time you mess up your life, second time you don't. But our society giving them the second chance. They're giving them enough money with which they can buy that money, which I pay, go into those programs. Those programs give them, and some forces in the society take their $700-800 in form of drugs. So that is why when I say homeless people are commoditized, like you want to live because they are acting just like a funnel in which a
Mhm.
money is flowing to other people
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
society. And people need to talk about this. People need to think about this. Canada, it is happening in Canada. I say, like, I have been to 10, 12 countries, and Canada by far is the best country to live in. By far the best country to live in. And still, these things happen here. So
Yeah.
just other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Yeah, I feel that there are a lot of work that we could do for sure. And I like your idea. I think your idea is very valuable. And to create, and once these people are in one of those houses, well, they have an address. So if they do want to go and commute and go get a job, then they can,
yeah,
because
yeah,
then they have an address. It's not like if you're homeless, they say that no, you don't have an address, you cannot have a job. We need to have an
exactly.
address to put in the file and everything. And then it's a step out of being homeless for sure.
Homelessness, yeah. And I worked with Translink for over 30 months. We can just connect that town with a bus to schools every 30 minutes.
To go downtown or whatever, to go
Yeah,
in town and
whatever. Yeah, totally doable. In fact, I will tell you, I have been talking to some financiers also in the process of making some business cases that if we can make this thing, okay, will become little higher. Maybe it's not under $50 million. Maybe it will cost 60 million. Maybe. But still, it is less than 70 billion, Denise.
70
That's
billion. Yeah, I
peanuts.
know. I think, and if we could recuperate some of that money to put towards that project, I mean, that's a grain of salt, really.
Yeah,
70 billion, 70 million, and 70 billion. I mean, it's a grain of salt.
yeah.
It's 1%, right?
Mind you, National Housing Strategy is just one program. There are hundreds of programs like this. So 70 billion is just one program. The government is putting lot more money than this amount. So somebody needs to come up with a fresh idea, and it's very hard to find a financer. Like people, I tried to create a team. Oh, we need to do. How will you fund the project? And I was like, I will somehow organization that invest into this thing and create a town. And I'm thinking, I feel do that because I don't think we can do this by creating like or donation like fundraising events. I
Yeah, yeah,
personally think no, it's not a
yeah. But it's like any goals or any project. Like in my coaching, right? I tell my clients, I say, okay, what's your end project, your end goal, and visualize it and see yourself in that situation. So you, for example, you see that town being built, you see these people living in there and being independent and creating their own ecosystem within the town, and you can see that. But don't, like, a lot of people are being blocked to what how are we going to do that. Doesn't matter the how, because once you have a clear vision of where you want to go, the how is going to happen. You just have to
I will
believe that you can move forward and create that system and create these towns and help homelessness all around Canada, and then show the example so that other country, our neighbors down south, can definitely help their homeless.
you,
And now the how,
you just
it's
need
not important, right?
yeah, yeah, you just need to do it once in the world. Whoever is
Exactly.
made. I'm telling you, everywhere in the world, homelessness problem will be solved. People will follow suit. Everywhere else, people will come out. So it's
Yeah.
just one, the battle of Normandy. First battle is hard. If you're able to do that, you will have a positive impact on.
Yeah.
And the second thing, I honestly want to go and live in the town with them, but my wife doesn't see it like this. But I will there with them, and I will
Yeah.
hopefully, yeah, we will bring change. I'm very
Yeah.
that we will do that.
Well, that's pretty amazing. I'm so glad that you were able to come and join me and talk about this project, because it needs to be heard. It's need to be understood. And too often, as I was mentioning earlier in this show, that people are so easy to judge when they see a homeless person, right? And it's not and sometimes we might think that, oh well, whenever I try to talk to them, they're aggressive, whatever. Well, put yourself in their shoes, right? Like they're defensive more than they are, offensive. Like they're always on defense because they need to defend themselves every single day that they out there in the street and protect their life and their environment. So just but be kind to them. Like, don't yell at them, don't say negative things to them, just say hello, and treat them like human being and not like trash on the side of the road.
Exactly, simple acts of kindness can make or break someone's day. Just saying hello, just say hello, just look at them and smile nicely. Even that helps. And also the rule that the law on the street is weaker gets more punishment. So sometimes street has to show themselves as strong,
Oh, you cut out.
wrong
Hold on, I
idea
get.
that
Okay,
we.
can you say that again, because you cut out? So the law of the street, and then
Sorry, Denise,
you
I'm
missed
unable to
out.
hear you.
Yes, just adjust your system there. Something cut out.
Hello?
So can you hear me now? Hello. You cut out for a second, and then I lost you. Can you hear me? I'll keep talking. So
Denise,
so I'm
I
here.
can see you speaking, but I can't hear you.
Hold on. I'll for those that are listening, just stay there. I'll tell him fix your system. You might be able to see that text. I say fix your system, and I'll talk to the audience. So I hope he'll be able to fix his hearing me. But I mean, homelessness is such a big problem in our city in Vancouver, and I know, I'm sure wherever city you're working in, you have that problem too. And I encourage you to even to give people a smile, and to give them, even if you can't or don't want to give them money or anything else, but just to be kind. Kindness is such a great gift for people that are in the street, because they're not very treated kindly anymore so much. And a kind word, a kind gesture, if you had too much at lunch and then you have leftovers and you didn't want the restaurant to throw it out, like, find a homeless and give them your leftovers. They'll be more than happy to eat it. And just be kind. And now let's see if Mirza can hear me. If he can hear me, then
I can't hear you, Denise, for some reason.
I'm not sure if you see my text. I sent a little private texting
So,
there, and there you
yeah,
go.
yeah. My last words would be, please, we need to destigmatize homelessness.
Mhm.
These people are humans first. Then they can be considered as junkies or druggies. In fact, we should not consider them junkies or druggies either. See them as humans. Please be nice to them. A small, simple act of kindness can make their day.
Mhm.
If you do not want to give your money to them, don't give your money. If you don't want to give your time to them, don't give your time to them. But please be nice to them. Remember, they are human beings who are in pain. The second thing which I want your audience or everyone to understand is it's not their fault that they're homeless. It is the
Mhm.
system we have created. It is the organizations. It is the society we have created, which is so competitive and in which the trauma is so easy to get that these people end up homelessness.
Yeah.
And the last thing is that if somehow you can help us, La Panache Consulting or myself, we are really passionate. We really want to make this homelessness, want to eliminate the homelessness. We want to bring these people back to life. We want to bring these people, rehabilitate these people that they become an active part of society again. So connect with us. We are
Mhm.
present on LinkedIn. We are present on Facebook. You can email us. My website is there, which is www.la-panache.ca,
Mhm.
and there are multiple ways with which you can contact me. So please share your ideas. Please tell us how can we do it, and if you can render some help, volunteer or stuff, we will be willing to take that. We want to solve this problem. Every day there are tens of people who die on the road, and we want to solve this problem as soon as possible. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much, Denise, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mirza. You'll be able to hear the my comment when you listen to the replay, but I appreciate so much you being here today. And I'll share in the chat how you can get a hold of Mirza Nabeel. His email is support@la-panache.ca. And as he mentioned, like he has like the website and LinkedIn and Facebook. So I'll put all the information in the chat. And again, thank you so much for being here. And I will place comment, and we'll answer your comment in the chat and all that. So thank you everyone,
Bye.
and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.